Hello my friends. I decided to do another video. I am gonna try a few new things I haven't tried before, so we'll go from there. Today we're gonna be using this stamp right here, and then this Spellbinder set of dies. Here, I'll pull it up that way. I don't know if the number gives you anything. And then, oh, it's called the Wreath at the bottom. And then Tim Holtz embossing folder. It's the wall one. So what I'm thinking of doing, we'll see how it turns out. But I'm going to stamp first. I'm going to use one of these stamping apparatuses things. Because it is a big stamp, I'm using this one so I can do it over and over and over again. This way, if I don't like it or anything like that, I can change it up. So I'm going to start with old paper and see if that's enough of what I'm looking for. This is going to be the background of the card. So we will stamp it. I don't want it perfect, and the stamp is not made to be perfect. Sorry about the shaking. Okay, so let's stamp and see what we get. So I taped on the paper. I don't know if you know how to use one of these. Let me explain it a little bit. So basically, you put the taper down, tape it on so it doesn't move. I usually like to put it in the corner. Then you put the stamp, like as you already stamped it, on top, close it, and it'll stick to the top. And that way when you put it down with the actual ink on it, it's going to be exactly where you want it. Because while you still have the stamp without the ink on there, you can line it up as you like. But the good thing about this stamp, you can ink it up more than once. Let's say this part didn't ink too well, or here. You can go back and do those parts, close it again, and because the paper's not moving and the stamp's not moving, you can do it over and over. I'm going to do a little bit different. I'm kind of trying out the different colors to figure out what I want with the background. So I'm doing antique linen this time. I want to see how dark I'd like it, because I didn't want to start with a pumice stone, because I knew it's going to be really, probably quite gray, not a very light gray, so I was going to try different things. Okay, that's kind of cool. We might stay with that for our background, or we might, let me try some gray. See what it does. I'm not going to do too much, but I will do it all over though. Part of it is going to be covered up, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay. Okay, so I made it a lot darker. I guess we'll stay with that, but not quite as dark as I wanted. But we're going to keep it in a clean piece of paper. Let's put this one on here. For example, you tape it on, and then the stamp, you set it down right the way you want it. Make sure you line up all the corners, everywhere, and then you close it, and then the stamp is stuck to the side. See? That's what I like about this. And like I said, you can go over and over, over and over, over and over, and it's going to stamp in exactly the same spot, since the paper would be taped and the stamp doesn't move. So that's why I like these. Plus, did you notice we stamped 3 times and it's always in the same spot? There's no close up. See how it's not out of lines or overlapped? It's perfectly stamped every single time. Oh, it's not as bad as I thought it was, as it's drying out. So let's put this aside. So I wanted to try not only stamping it, but I want to try actually embossing it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it in here into the Tim Holtz embossing folder. Let's get this done real quick here. Let's do a review, I guess, in case you haven't seen my other videos. The way you run the embossing folders through on my machine, normally you would go through on this one, tells you right there, but I open all the way up. It tends to be too much pressure on my machine, so I do it and it actually tears it, and I didn't want to spray the paper either, so I just open it up all the way, put it in here, and just go. You don't have to do it twice. One this little edge here too, so it doesn't seem like it's not done on this end. So let's do it real quick here. Basically, kind of like extending your embossing folder, because a lot of them are not big enough for the size I like to work with. Okay, I don't want to go all the way or it's going to straighten out everything else. Let's get this out of the way real quick. Here's what it looks like now. See how I gave this 3D look to it? It's not perfect, but at least you can feel it. If you don't like the way things turn out, you can always flip it around and use the other side. But I'm gonna stick with it. Kind of liking it. Gave this little wall. So, here's our base. This is gonna be the background to the actual card. I got the base for the card right there. So this is what we have so far. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna die cut the smaller size of the wreath. I think, I don't know what's best. Green probably would be the best color to use. Okay, so I'm gonna do this lighter green. That way I can color and make it into something darker, or leave it just like it is. So I'm going to use the precision base plate to cut it out. Because precision base plate puts a lot of pressure. First of all, you need this size up. Make sure you don't have any of the writings on there. So I'm going to use that. Also, you put the paper down, you put your image on here with the cutting plates down towards there, and then use kind of like a used up beaten one, because it puts a whole lot of pressure and it's going to damage your brand new ones if you use brand new ones on the precision base plates. Let's get that through. See, I told you there's a lot of pressure on there. So let's look and see how it turned out. Oh, it cut it out from one try. Perfect. Lifting this up is really easy. Just lift it up. If not, there's holes you can poke it through. Then some of it is embossed sections in here, but some are actual cutouts. So here's something you can do is when you have the wreath, these little ones just need to be thrown away. But these other ones, you can always use them to make the wreath bigger. For example, you can put one down here, and then this one, for example, you can do it here. or you can do it from the inside. Like you can do it here if you want to make it bigger, or do it a continuation of it. I mean, you can add it in later. It depends on kind of what you want to do with it, but you can reuse these little pieces here like that. You can connect them like that, and it makes it a little wider of a wreath. But that's, I'll see if I'll need it or not. I'm gonna save those pieces for that reason, see if I want to use them. So here's what we got. So I could go back and just use a marker and color like these parts in here. Here. Okay. You could go back and use different greens. Let's say all these leaves you want to color them in. You can go back and do it and make them a different darker green. Okay, so just color a few more things with the brown. Okay, gotta stop. But okay, so now we have the background, we have the wreath. Now there's a couple of things. You can either put this back in here and stamp it with something, or you can cut out a white insert and stamp any kind of words on there. I'll just use a quick happy, but it's just an example like that. We have in here. Let's get a couple of white ones and we'll ink them up, I guess. So we're going to use the red ink. I'll show you this too. So these are my molding mat. These are from Ellison, but it's Susan's Garden. This is for the actual flowers. This is for the leaves of the flowers. And let's say we take a red ink. So with this you can actually play around. You can either do just red, you can do them pink, you can do the centers red. So it's what a lot of times what I do, just put it right on here and just kind of use something. Sometimes I use my finger, but I don't want to get them all red, and ink it up and see how it gives it more than one color this way too. It's not just plain red. Kind of gives it a certain dimension to it and shading at the same time. But I'll go back and do some more. And it's up to you how red you want them. That's how much you want to ink them. That's how hard, I guess, you can press onto your ink pad. Okay, so I'll just do 3 leaves. Okay, here it goes. Couldn't find my lid there for a second. Okay, red is very inky, so I'm gonna wash my fingers. Otherwise I'll get everything red. So, how we mold flowers. I already showed this too, but I'll show you one more time. While those drying, I'm going to show it on this brown one. So there's different sizes you can use. There's the small one, or there's the larger one, which I'll show you with this one. It's easier, the smaller the flower, the smaller the tip you need. Or if you want to do lines inside. See how it curls it up? Do it a little bit in the middle. And you can leave it either that way, even do more than one layer and glue the center like this, and then do or you can leave it like that. Do it close up. Leave it like that, or you can do multiple layers. Let's say, let's do another one of this color. I'll show you. So it's kind of depends on what you want to do with your flowers. And then you can go back, flip it over. So this one we kept the way it was. This one, when it was like that, like this, we just flip it over to this side, put it down like this, and press in the middle, and it turns the flower completely the other way. I'll show you. See? And then what you could do is take this one and glue it right to the center there, like that. Ah, it'll stay for me. And then you can leave it just like that. See what the flower will look like. It's kind of cool. And then you can either put some glittery dots like stickles or something in the middle, or put a little small tiny flower inside. Like this set came with little ones, you can use one of these little flowers. Kind of depends what you want to do with it. Also, this set came with another branch of leaves you can use, so you can cut extras and make the wreath even bigger. So what I wanted to show you, I think these are a bit dried, so I'm gonna try showing you molding real quick here. So just go over one. Yeah, it's coloring it. I'm not liking that. Let's get. Came with this mat, so sometimes for my pad not to get dirty, what I do, put it on here because it's kind of flexible, and just do it right on there, because I can wash it off of here, but I can't wash it off of that mat. So, and then I'll just go and do the center of it like that. Let's do one more like that. Just flip it to the other side. Just not enough time for it to dry well, so that's why I'm kind of trying to hurry up to show you. And then this one, I'll do it this way and see if I want to just turn it towards the inside of the flower. I'd have to ink both sides, wouldn't I? Okay, so it's not going to work the way I was hoping it would. Yes, I'll have to do the other. And the good thing is about these, no matter if you do it on one side or the other, you can still go back and redo it. So I'm just going to leave 3 same flowers. I'm not going to do this kind of a molding, because this one is double-sided, so it's just fine. That one is, since we only inked up on one side, it's going to not look very well. So let's get that out of the way. Wash the tip a little bit, get all that ink, red ink off of everything. Red is always very, very bright and sticks to everything. Okay, so let's get these out of the way for a change a little bit, and take some leaves. So I have a lot of different die cuts, kind of go from there. I do them in different colors to see what would fit whatever I'm doing. And I'll go over how to mold them one more time. So draw a line. With this one you can use either tip. The actual intended one is this one, the pointy one, but I usually use this, that way I don't rip the paper. So you can do it either way. So let's do it this way. And then you just draw the lines in there. And I do them starting from the middle the same way. That way when you look at it, see how they're meeting right in the middle, my lines are. And then the molding part is you fold it in the middle, fold it towards the inside first, kind of like pinch it, and then you can either use some kind of tool to curl the tip, or I just do it on my nail. And the same thing with the edges. Just pinch it a little bit back, because leaves are never straight, so this gives it a bit of a 3D view. And then we can kind of look at it and see where we want to glue. We can always do it after we post the flowers on here, but also watch with this wreath how the leaves are going which direction. So, do I have the little centers here? I don't know if I do. Well, then we'll cut out one of those little flowers in here. What color should we do? What do you think? Let's do it in yellow. So I have this little scrap piece of paper here in yellow. Just gonna die cut real quick. So these are even simpler. You can mold them pretty much with just poking through in the center, and it just folds it enough. So when we glue it into the flower, you can even do little rhinestones and stuff. You don't have to do them out of paper and flowers. So, just like that. Put a little bit in the center of the flower. Some glue, stuck my little insert, the little center in there, and that's what the flower looks like. See? Ta-da! And then I would probably put a little bit of stickles, yellow stickles in the middle to give it that little sparkly. But then what we do with the flower, we'll just put it right in these spots where they originally had intended for the flowers. So let's do another one. And these little centers came right from the set. You could also put it on here, like that, and just poke it through. That way you really get the whole flower molded even more. And then put it on there. You can do 3, you can do 4. So I would do probably one more flower either here or there. Kind of depends, but I'll do center also to it. So I can probably add a leaf to it, either like that, have them go